Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are well. It's great to have you here with us for another episode of our English learning podcast. Whether you're just starting your English journey or looking to improve your skills, this podcast is for you. Today, we have an exciting and very important topic: how to learn English alone at home. Many people believe that learning English requires expensive classes, traveling abroad, or having a language partner. But guess what? That's not true. Learning English alone at home is absolutely possible. In fact, with the right strategies, you can make incredible progress even without a teacher or a classroom. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Adam, learning alone is difficult. How can I improve without a teacher? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We'll share practical tips, easy-to-follow methods, and fun ways to practice English from the comfort of your own home. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear plan for learning English effectively on your own. And of course, I'm not alone in this discussion. Joining me today is my co-host, Julia. Hey, Julia, how are you?
Hey, Adam. I'm doing great, and I'm really excited about today's topic. Learning English at home is something a lot of people struggle with, but it can actually be a very effective way to improve your skills. The best part? You have complete control over your learning pace, schedule, and resources.
Exactly. No pressure, no deadlines, just you and your learning journey. And the good news is, you don't need a lot of money or expensive resources to make progress. With just a little dedication and the right techniques, anyone can become fluent over time.
That's right. Now, before we dive into our tips and strategies, let's ask our listeners a question. Everyone listening right now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried learning English at home? If yes, what was the biggest challenge you faced? Was it lack of motivation, difficulty understanding grammar, not knowing where to start? Let us know in the comments, or just think about your answer. This will help you reflect on what areas you need to improve.
Great question, Julia. Every learner faces different challenges, but the key is to find what works best for you. So, grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's get started. All right, now that we've introduced today's topic, let's talk about something very important: your mindset. Many people think learning English is just about memorizing words and studying grammar, but the truth is, your mindset decides your success. If you believe learning English is too hard, you'll struggle. But if you believe in yourself and stay positive, you'll improve much faster. I've seen many learners give up too soon. They expect fast results and get frustrated when they don't see progress. But remember, learning a language takes time. It's like exercising. If you go to the gym for a week and don't see changes, does that mean it's not working? Of course not. You have to keep going. Every day that you practice English, you are moving closer to fluency. It might not feel like it, but trust me, you're improving. Julia, what advice would you give to someone who struggles with motivation?
That's a great question, Adam. Motivation is a big challenge for many learners. When you study alone, you don't have a teacher pushing you. You have to motivate yourself. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to make learning fun. If you only study from textbooks, you'll get bored. Instead, do things you enjoy in English. Watch movies, listen to music, or read simple books. If you enjoy the process, you'll stay motivated. Another tip is to remember why you're learning English. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or talk to new people. Write down your reason and look at it every day. When you feel lazy, remind yourself why you started. I also love visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking English fluently. Picture yourself having a smooth conversation. This will keep you inspired. Adam, some learners feel like they are studying a lot, but not improving. How can they track their progress?
That's a great question. Many people don't realize that progress is slow but steady. Sometimes you feel stuck, but your brain is learning in the background. One way to stay motivated is to set small, clear goals. Instead of saying, "I want to learn English," be specific. "I will learn 10 new words every day." "I will practice speaking for 10 minutes every morning." "I will listen to an English podcast for 20 minutes daily." Having clear goals helps you stay focused. Now, let's talk about tracking progress. One great method is keeping an English journal. Write a few sentences every day about your life or thoughts. Over time, you'll see your writing improve. Another idea is to record yourself speaking. Speak in English, save the audio, and listen to it a month later. You'll be surprised at how much better you sound. Julia, do you have any other fun ways to stay motivated?
Yes. I love using challenges. Challenge yourself to speak only in English for a day. Watch a movie without subtitles. Try using 5 new words in a conversation. Challenges keep learning exciting. Also, celebrate your progress. If you finish a book, learn 100 new words, or have your first full conversation, reward yourself. Maybe eat your favorite food, watch an extra episode of your favorite show, or simply appreciate how far you've come.
That's such a great point. Many learners focus on what they don't know instead of celebrating what they do know. If you ever feel discouraged, just look back and see how much you've already learned. The fact that you're listening to this podcast in English means you're improving. Keep going, stay positive, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Now that we've talked about mindset and motivation, let's move on to something just as important: creating a daily learning routine. Many people want to learn English, but they don't have a clear plan. They study one day, skip the next, and then forget what they learned. This makes learning slow and frustrating, but if you follow a structured routine, you'll see progress much faster. Having a daily routine helps you stay consistent. Think about any skill: playing the guitar, cooking, or exercising. If you only practice once a week, you won't improve much. But if you practice a little bit every day, you'll get better over time. The same rule applies to learning English. Even 30 minutes a day can make a big difference. A good routine should include listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it should be something you can follow every day. Julia, do you have any ideas on how learners can organize their day for effective English practice?
Yes. The best way to learn English at home is to divide your day into small learning sessions. This makes studying easier and more fun. Let's break it down into 3 parts: morning, afternoon, and evening. In the morning, your mind is fresh, so it's a great time for listening and vocabulary. Here are some activities you can do. Listen to an English podcast while having breakfast. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is absorbing the sounds. Read a few pages of an English book or an article. This helps improve your vocabulary and reading skills. Learn 5 to 10 new words and try to use them in sentences. If you do this every day, you'll know hundreds of words in a few months. Then comes the afternoon, which is perfect for speaking and writing practice. After lunch, your energy might be lower, so do something interactive. Practice speaking. Talk to yourself in English about your day. If you have a language partner or an online speaking group, have a short conversation. Write in a journal, even if it's just a few sentences. Write about what you did in the morning, what you ate, or how you're feeling. This improves sentence structure and confidence. Watch a short video or a TED Talk in English. Then try to summarize what you learned in your own words. Finally, in the evening, focus on relaxing but still learning English. Some ideas include watching a TV show or a movie in English with subtitles, reviewing what you learned during the day. Go through your new words and try to remember them. Reading for 10 to 15 minutes before bed. This helps your brain process the language while you sleep. Adam, do you think this is a good way to organize a study routine? Or should learners change it based on their schedule?
I think this is a great starting point, but everyone is different. Some people are more active in the morning, while others prefer studying at night. The most important thing is to be consistent. If you only study for 1 hour on Sunday but do nothing the rest of the week, it won't help much. But if you study 20 to 30 minutes every day, you'll improve quickly. Let's give an example of a daily study plan for beginners. Imagine you're just starting to learn English, and you have 1 hour a day to study. Here's a simple routine. Beginner's daily study plan, 1 hour total, morning, 20 minutes. Listen to an English podcast or audio lesson, 10 minutes. Read a short article or a few pages of a book, 5 minutes. Learn 5 new words and write sentences, 5 minutes. Afternoon, 20 minutes. Speak out loud. Describe your surroundings or talk about your day, 10 min. Write a few sentences in your journal, 5 min. Watch a short English video, 5 min. Evening, 20 minutes. Watch a TV show or movie in English, 10 minutes. Review new words and sentences from the day, 5 minutes. Read a short passage before bed, 5 minutes. Julia, do you think this is enough for a beginner, or should they do more?
I think this is a great routine. For beginners, 1 hour a day is enough to see progress. But if someone wants to learn faster, they can add extra practice. For example, speaking practice. Try talking to yourself in English for 5 extra minutes. Listening practice. Listen to an English podcast while cooking, cleaning, or exercising. Vocabulary practice. Use flashcards or language apps like Duolingo or Anki. Also, one great tip is to connect English with your daily life. For example, when you're cooking, try saying the ingredients in English. When you're walking outside, describe what you see. This makes learning natural and easy.
That's a great tip. Another thing that helps is setting reminders. Many people forget to study because they are busy. A simple trick is to set an alarm on your phone for study time. If you get a reminder every day, you won't forget to practice. Also, if you ever feel bored with your routine, change it up. Maybe one day you read a book, and the next day you listen to a song and try to understand the lyrics. Learning should be fun, not stressful.
Exactly. And don't worry if you miss a day. The important thing is to keep going. Even if you only study for 10 minutes, it's better than nothing. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
That's right. So, to everyone listening, make a study plan and stick to it. Start small, be consistent, and soon you'll see big improvements.
And most importantly, enjoy the process. Learning English should be exciting, not boring. So have fun with it, try different activities, and keep pushing yourself every day.
All right. Now that we've talked about creating a daily routine, let's focus on 2 of the most important skills in English: listening and speaking. These 2 go hand in hand. If you can listen well, you can understand conversations. If you can speak confidently, you can express yourself clearly. But for many learners, these skills are the most difficult. Some people can read and write well, but when they try to listen or speak, they feel lost. One big reason for this is that spoken English is different from written English. In books, sentences are clear and structured, but in real conversations, people speak fast, use slang, and sometimes don't pronounce words clearly. That's why you need to train your ears to understand natural English. So, how can you improve your listening skills? One of the best ways is to listen to English every day. You don't have to understand everything. Just listening helps your brain get used to the sounds and rhythm of the language. Here are some great ways to practice listening. Podcasts. Podcasts are amazing because they cover different topics and accents. You can listen while doing other things, walking, cooking, or even relaxing. If you're a beginner, start with slow podcasts designed for learners. Then, as you improve, try regular English podcasts. Movies and TV shows. Watching movies is great because you hear real conversations. Start with subtitles if needed, but try to watch without them later. Pay attention to pronunciation, expressions, and how native speakers talk. Audiobooks. If you enjoy stories, audiobooks are a great option. Choose books with simple language and listen while reading along. This helps you see how words are pronounced. News and YouTube videos. Watching news channels or YouTube videos in English helps you get familiar with different accents. Try repeating short sentences to improve your pronunciation. Julia, some learners say they listen a lot but still don't understand English. What advice would you give them?
That's a great question, Adam. Listening is not just about hearing words. It's about active listening. Some people listen passively, meaning they hear English but don't focus on understanding. Instead, try active listening. Here's how you can do it. Listen and repeat. Play a sentence, pause, and repeat it. This helps you hear new words clearly. Write down what you hear. Listen to a short clip and write what you understand. Then, check if you are correct. Focus on keywords. Don't try to understand every word. Focus on key words and main ideas. And most importantly, don't panic if you don't understand everything. Even native speakers sometimes miss words in fast conversations. The key is to keep practicing. Now, Adam, listening is important, but speaking is where many learners struggle. How can someone improve their speaking skills when they are learning alone?
That's a big challenge, Julia. When you don't have someone to talk to, it feels hard to practice speaking. But the truth is, you don't need a partner to improve your speaking. There are many ways to practice alone. One great technique is shadowing. This means listening to a sentence and repeating it immediately. Try to match the pronunciation, tone, and speed of the speaker. It's like copying a native speaker. If you do this every day, your pronunciation and fluency will improve. Another powerful method is self-recording. Many people feel shy when speaking English. Recording yourself helps you build confidence. Just take your phone, record yourself talking for 1 or 2 minutes about any topic, and then listen. You'll hear your mistakes and improve over time. Julia, do you have any fun speaking exercises that learners can try?
Yes. One of my favorite techniques is talking to yourself. It might sound funny, but it works. You can describe what you're doing. I am making coffee. I am going to the store. You can also have imaginary conversations. Pretend you're ordering food at a restaurant or introducing yourself to someone new. This helps you think in English. Another great way to practice is to speak in front of a mirror. Look at yourself and say a few sentences. This builds confidence and helps with pronunciation. And if you want a challenge, try the 5-minute speaking rule. Every day, pick a topic and talk about it in English for 5 minutes without stopping. It can be anything: your favorite movie, your daily routine, or your goals. This helps you get comfortable speaking without translating in your head. Adam, should we show an example of a simple conversation for our listeners?
All right. Now that we've talked about listening and speaking, let's move on to another important part of learning English: reading and writing. Many learners focus on speaking, but forget that reading and writing are just as important. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure. When you read, you see how words are used naturally in sentences. You also learn new phrases, expressions, and even cultural references. It's like learning English without even realizing it. Another great thing about reading is that it helps your brain get used to the language. You start recognizing common sentence patterns, which makes it easier to form correct sentences when speaking or writing. Now, some people think reading in English is too difficult, but the trick is to choose the right material. If you read something too hard, you'll get frustrated. If it's too easy, you won't learn much. Julia, what kind of reading materials do you recommend for English learners?
That's a great question, Adam. Choosing the right material is very important. For beginners, I always recommend starting with simple and interesting texts. Here are some great options. Children's books. These are great because they use simple words and short sentences. Even though they are for kids, they are perfect for English learners. Graded readers. These are books written specifically for English learners. They come in different levels, so you can choose one that matches your ability. Short stories. Stories are fun and engaging. You can find many simple short stories online. Reading a full story gives you a sense of achievement. News articles. Reading the news is a great way to learn English and stay informed. Start with websites like BBC Learning English or News in Levels, where the news is written in simple English. Blogs and online articles. Blogs are easy to read and usually cover interesting topics like travel, food, or self-improvement. Find blogs that interest you and read a little every day. Adam, some learners say they find reading boring. How can they make it more fun and effective?
That's a great point, Julia. Reading shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be enjoyable. One way to make it fun is to read about topics that interest you. If you love sports, read sports articles. If you enjoy travel, read travel blogs. When you're interested in the topic, you'll stay motivated. Another tip is to combine reading with listening. For example, listen to an audiobook while reading the text. This helps improve both your listening and reading skills at the same time. Also, don't try to understand every single word. Some learners stop and check the dictionary for every difficult word. This makes reading slow and frustrating. Instead, try to guess the meaning from the context. If a word appears many times and you still don't understand it, then look it up. Now, let's talk about writing. Julia, why is writing an important skill for English learners?
Writing is very important because it helps you organize your thoughts and improve your grammar. When you write, you have more time to think, so you can practice forming correct sentences. It also helps you remember new words and expressions. Some learners feel nervous about writing because they think their grammar isn't perfect. But the truth is, you don't have to be perfect. Just start writing. The more you write, the better you'll get. Here are some simple ways to practice writing every day. Keep an English journal. Write a few sentences about your day, your thoughts, or your plans. It doesn't have to be long. Just a few lines every day. Over time, you'll see your progress. Write daily sentences. Choose a new word or phrase and write 3 to 5 sentences using it. This helps you remember vocabulary. Summarize what you read or watch. After reading a short article or watching a video, write a short summary in your own words. This improves your ability to express ideas clearly. Write messages in English. If you chat with friends online, try messaging in English. Even small conversations help. Describe pictures or events. Look at a picture and write a description. Or think about something interesting that happened in your day and write a short story about it. Adam, do you have any tips to make writing easier for learners?
Yes, many people struggle with writing because they don't know what to say. A good trick is to follow a simple structure. For example, when writing about your day, you can use this pattern. Morning. What did you do when you woke up? Afternoon. What activities did you do? Evening. How did you end your day? If you're writing a story, follow this structure. Beginning. Introduce the characters and setting. Middle. Describe the main event or problem. End. How does the story finish? Having a structure makes writing easier. Also, don't worry about making mistakes. The important thing is to write every day. Over time, your sentences will become more natural. Julia, should we do a quick writing exercise for our listeners?
Great idea. Let's give them a 1-minute challenge. If you're listening, grab a notebook or open a note on your phone. Here's your task. Write 3 sentences about what you did today. If you're not sure what to write, follow this example. This morning, I ate breakfast and listened to an English podcast. In the afternoon, I watched a short English video on YouTube. Now, I am listening to this podcast and practicing my English. Try writing your own 3 sentences now. If you do this every day, your writing will improve very quickly.
That's a great exercise. And remember, you don't need to write perfectly. The more you write, the better you'll get. Just keep practicing and have fun with it. So, to all our listeners, make reading and writing a part of your daily routine. Read something small every day and write a little bit, even if it's just a few sentences. Over time, you'll see big improvements in your English. All right, now that we've talked about reading and writing, let's move on to something that has completely changed the way we learn languages: technology and online resources. Years ago, learning English was difficult because students had to rely on textbooks in classrooms. But today, with the internet and smartphones, you can learn English anytime, anywhere. You don't need to travel to an English-speaking country. You don't even need a teacher. There are so many amazing tools available for free or at a low cost. One of the best ways to learn is by using language learning apps. There are many apps designed to help you improve your English in different ways. Let me share some of the most useful ones. Duolingo, great for beginners who want to build vocabulary and practice basic grammar. The lessons are short and fun, like playing a game. Memrise. This app helps you remember new words using pictures, audio, and fun exercises. Anki, a powerful flashcard app that helps you review vocabulary efficiently. You can create your own flashcards or download ready-made ones. BBC Learning English offers free daily lessons, videos, and exercises to improve all areas of English. LingQ helps improve reading and listening skills by providing texts with audio and translation support. HelloTalk and Tandem. These apps connect you with native speakers for chat and voice conversations. You can practice real conversations with real people. And of course, one of the best free resources is YouTube. There are thousands of great English learning channels where you can watch lessons, listen to native speakers, and even practice pronunciation. Julia, what do you think about social media and online communities? Can they help people learn English?
Absolutely, Adam. Social media is one of the best ways to learn English naturally. Many people already spend hours on social media every day, so why not use it for learning? There are Facebook groups, Reddit communities, and Instagram pages dedicated to English learners. You can join these groups, ask questions, and practice with other learners. Here are some ways to use social media effectively. Follow English learning pages on Instagram. Many teachers post daily vocabulary, grammar tips, and pronunciation videos. Join Facebook groups for English learners. In these groups, you can ask for advice, find study partners, and even practice writing by commenting in English. Reddit/English Learning, a great community where learners share tips, resources, and motivation. TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Short videos are great for quick lessons. You can learn new phrases, pronunciation tips, and cultural expressions in just a few minutes. Twitter, X, and LinkedIn. Follow English language news accounts and professionals. Try to read posts, leave comments, and engage with English-speaking people. The best thing about online communities is that they give you real interaction. You can see how people actually speak and write in daily life. Plus, you get the chance to connect with other learners who are on the same journey as you. Adam, let's talk about one of the most exciting tools for learning English, AI and chatbots.
Yes, AI is changing the way people learn languages. Before, learners had to wait for a teacher or a language partner to practice speaking. But now, with AI chatbots, you can practice conversations anytime. AI chatbots are great because they never get tired. You can practice 24/7. They don't judge your mistakes. You can practice without feeling shy. They give instant feedback, helping you correct your grammar and pronunciation. Some of the best AI tools for learning English include ChatGPT and Google Bard. You can have full conversations, ask for grammar explanations, or even practice role-playing different situations like ordering food or job interviews. Elsa Speak, an AI app that helps you with pronunciation. It listens to your voice and gives feedback to help you sound more like a native speaker. Speak AI, an app designed for practicing real conversations with an AI tutor. Replika, a chatbot that can have real conversations with you, helping you improve fluency. One great way to use AI is to ask it to correct your writing. For example, you can write a short paragraph and ask ChatGPT to check your grammar and suggest improvements. It's like having a private English tutor anytime you need. Julia, do you have any tips for using AI and technology wisely?
Yes, technology is a fantastic tool, but you have to use it the right way. Here are some tips to make the most of it. Use English settings on your phone. Change your device language to English so you see and think in English daily. Set daily learning goals. For example, spend 15 minutes on an English app, read one short article, and practice speaking with a chatbot. Don't rely too much on translations. Try to understand words in context instead of always using Google Translate. Practice speaking, not just typing. Many learners use AI chatbots for writing, but you can also speak to them. Some chatbots have voice recognition features, so you can practice pronunciation too. Balance screen time. Technology is great, but don't forget real-life practice. Try speaking out loud, reading books, and writing with a pen and paper sometimes. Adam, do you think AI will replace human teachers one day?
That's an interesting question, Julia. AI is getting smarter, but I don't think it will replace teachers completely. Human teachers provide something AI can't: real emotions, cultural insights, and personal encouragement. However, AI is a great tool to support learning. It can help learners practice more often, get quick feedback, and feel more confident. The best way to learn is to combine AI with real conversations. So, to all our listeners, use technology to your advantage. Download useful apps, join online communities, and practice with AI tools. With so many free resources available, learning English at home has never been easier. Now let's talk about something really important: common mistakes that English learners make and how to avoid them. When learning a language, everyone makes mistakes. It's completely normal. The key is to learn from your mistakes and not let them discourage you. Some people feel embarrassed when they make mistakes, but the truth is, mistakes are proof that you are learning. If you never make mistakes, that means you're not pushing yourself enough. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. Julia, let's start by talking about some of the most common mistakes beginners make when learning English. What's the first one on our list?
One of the most common mistakes is translating directly from your native language. Many learners try to form English sentences the way they think in their own language, but this often leads to incorrect grammar or unnatural sentences. For example, in some languages, people say "I have 30 years" instead of "I am 30 years old," because they're translating word for word. Another example is saying he has 1 meter 80 instead of he is 1.8 meters tall. These small mistakes make a big difference. A great way to fix this problem is to think in English instead of translating. It's hard at first, but with practice, it becomes easier. Adam, what's another common mistake?
Another big mistake is misusing verb tenses. Many learners struggle with past, present, and future tenses. They might say, "Yesterday I go to the store." Wrong. "Yesterday I went to the store." Correct. Or they might say, "I will go to the store yesterday." Wrong. "I went to the store yesterday." Correct. One simple way to avoid this mistake is to practice using tenses in daily conversations. For example, before going to bed, try saying a few sentences about your day using the past tense. Julia, what about pronunciation mistakes? Many learners struggle with this too.
Yes. Pronunciation is a big challenge, especially for sounds that don't exist in a learner's native language. Some of the most difficult English sounds are the sound. Many learners pronounce think as sink or thank as tank. Short and long vowel sounds. For example, some learners say ship instead of sheep or bit instead of beat. Silent letters. English has many silent letters, like the K in no or the B in doubt. To fix pronunciation mistakes, you should listen carefully to native speakers and try to copy them. Use apps like Elsa Speak or Youglish to hear correct pronunciations. Also, record yourself speaking and compare your pronunciation with native speakers. Adam, let's talk about grammar mistakes. What's another common one?
A very common mistake is forgetting to use articles, a and the. Many languages don't have articles, so learners often leave them out. For example, I bought apple. Wrong. I bought an apple. Correct. She is teacher. Wrong. She is a teacher. Correct. The rule is simple. Use a before words that start with a consonant sound. A book, a car, a dog. Use an before words that start with a vowel sound. An apple, an hour, an elephant. Use the when talking about something specific. The sun, the moon, the Eiffel Tower. Julia, what about vocabulary mistakes? Many learners mix up similar words.
Yes. A lot of beginners confuse words that sound similar but have different meanings. Some common mix-ups include there, your, lose, loose. For example, their house is big, belongs to them. There is a park near my house. A place. They're going to the store. They are. The best way to avoid these mistakes is to write down examples and practice using them in sentences. Flashcards or apps like Quizlet can help you memorize these tricky words. Adam, let's give our listeners some encouragement. Many learners feel bad when they make mistakes. What would you say to them?
I would say, don't be afraid of mistakes. Embrace them. Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are a sign of progress. Every mistake teaches you something new. Think about babies learning to walk. They fall down many times, but they never stop trying. That's how they learn. Language learning is the same. The more mistakes you make, the faster you will improve. Also, remember that native speakers don't expect you to be perfect. Most people appreciate it when you try to speak their language. So don't be afraid to speak, even if you make mistakes. Confidence is more important than perfection.
Exactly. And don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own speed. Some people learn quickly while others take more time. The most important thing is to keep going and never give up. Listeners, if you ever feel frustrated, just remind yourself, every mistake is a step forward. Every time you correct yourself, you are improving. So, to wrap up, don't translate word for word. Think in English. Practice using verb tenses correctly. Improve pronunciation by listening and repeating. Use articles a and the correctly. Learn the difference between similar words. And most importantly, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Adam, any final words before we move to the next section?
Yes. My final advice is enjoy the learning process. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Mistakes are part of the journey. Keep practicing, stay positive, and you'll see improvement over time. All right, let's move on to our next topic. This section is structured to last 10 minutes with detailed explanations, examples, and encouragement. Let me know if you'd like any modifications. One of the biggest challenges that many English learners face when studying alone at home is maintaining motivation and staying consistent in their practice. At the beginning of their learning journey, most people feel excited and determined to improve their English skills. But as time passes, they often struggle with boredom, lack of progress, or simply not knowing what to do next. This is completely normal, because when you don't have a teacher guiding you or classmates to interact with, it's easy to feel lost or unmotivated. However, the good news is that learning English doesn't always have to be a serious or structured process. In fact, some of the best ways to improve your language skills come from activities that are fun, engaging, and part of your everyday life. Julia, in your experience, what are some interesting and enjoyable ways that learners can use to practice English alone while making the process feel exciting and effective at the same time?
That's such an important question, Adam, because one of the main reasons people give up on learning a language is that they feel like it's too difficult, too repetitive, or simply not enjoyable enough to continue for a long period of time. But the truth is, learning English at home doesn't have to feel like a chore. One of the easiest and most entertaining ways to practice English is by using movies, TV shows, and other forms of visual storytelling. Watching content in English not only improves your listening skills but also exposes you to natural speech patterns, different accents, and new vocabulary in a way that feels effortless and enjoyable. However, simply watching something in English isn't enough. You need to be strategic about how you do it. A great approach is to start by watching a movie or TV show with subtitles in your native language so that you fully understand the storyline and context. Then, on your second watch, switch to English subtitles so that you can connect the spoken words to their written form, helping you recognize vocabulary and sentence structures. Finally, as a challenge, try watching the same content without any subtitles at all, relying only on your listening skills to follow the dialogue. This method allows your brain to get used to English naturally without always depending on translation, making it a powerful way to improve your comprehension over time.
That's an excellent technique, Julia, and I love how it gradually builds up a learner's ability to process English without needing subtitles. Another fantastic way to make learning fun, especially for people who love music, is by using songs as a learning tool. Music has a unique way of helping people remember words and phrases because of the rhythm, melody, and repetition. If you have a favorite English song, don't just listen to it passively. Actively engage with it by looking up the lyrics and reading along as you listen. This helps you connect the words with their pronunciation, making it easier to understand how they are used in real speech. A great exercise is to pause the song after each line and try to repeat what you hear, mimicking the pronunciation and intonation of the singer. This is known as the shadowing technique, and it's an incredibly effective way to improve your speaking fluency. For an even deeper learning experience, try writing down new words or phrases from the song and create your own sentences with them. This helps reinforce vocabulary in a way that's enjoyable and memorable, because every time you hear the song, those words will naturally stick in your mind.
That's such a fun way to practice, Adam. And it really shows how learning English doesn't have to be boring or stressful. Another fantastic method that many people overlook is playing language-related games. There are so many different types of games that can help improve vocabulary, spelling, and even sentence structure while keeping your brain engaged and active. Word puzzle games like crosswords, word searches, and Scrabble are great for expanding your vocabulary and recognizing patterns in English words. If you prefer a more interactive experience, there are also many online apps and platforms that turn language learning into a game by giving you challenges, points, and achievements. Some apps even allow you to compete with other learners around the world, making it a fun and social experience even when you're studying alone. The more you make English a part of your daily routine in a way that feels like entertainment rather than studying, the faster you'll see improvements in your skills without even realizing how much you're learning.
That's a great point, Julia. And I think another incredibly effective yet often underestimated technique for improving English alone is storytelling. Many learners think they need a conversation partner to practice speaking, but in reality, you can develop your speaking skills just by talking to yourself. One way to do this is by narrating your daily activities out loud in English. For example, as you go through your day, you can describe what you're doing. I'm making breakfast right now. I'm cutting some vegetables. I'm pouring my coffee into a cup. It might feel strange at first, but this kind of self-talk helps you practice forming sentences naturally, and over time, it becomes easier to express yourself without hesitation. Another fun storytelling exercise is to take a picture or an object in your home and try to describe it in as much detail as possible in English. If you want to make it even more challenging, record yourself speaking and listen back to identify areas where you can improve. The key is to be consistent and not be afraid of making mistakes, because the more you speak, the more confident and fluent you'll become.
That's such a useful strategy, Adam, because speaking is often the hardest skill to practice when you're learning alone. The great thing about storytelling and self-talk exercises is that they allow learners to practice English in a real-world context, making it more meaningful and effective. Another way to make English practice more interactive is by using social media. Many people spend hours on social media every day, so why not turn that into a language learning opportunity? Follow English-speaking influencers, watch their videos, and try to comment in English. Even better, if you feel comfortable, start creating short videos of yourself speaking English. This not only helps you practice, but also boosts your confidence. Social media can be a great tool for connecting with other learners and native speakers, allowing you to engage in conversations, learn new slang, and stay updated with how English is used in everyday life.
That's such a creative idea, Julia. Social media provides an endless stream of content in English, and if learners actively participate rather than just consume, it can be a powerful way to practice. The most important thing to remember is that learning English alone doesn't have to feel like studying from a textbook. By incorporating fun and engaging activities like movies, music, games, storytelling, and social media, you can make your learning journey enjoyable and effective at the same time. The key is to find methods that work for you and keep experimenting with different ways to stay motivated and consistent. So, if you're listening right now, what is one fun English learning activity that you're going to try this week? Let us know in the comments. One of the biggest struggles that many English learners face when practicing alone at home is not just improving their grammar, vocabulary, or listening skills, but actually feeling confident enough to speak English without hesitation or fear. Even if someone has studied English for years, they often find it difficult to express their thoughts fluently. And when they do, they might worry about making mistakes or sounding unnatural. This fear of speaking, also known as speech anxiety, holds back so many learners from making real progress. But here's the truth. Speaking confidently in English is a skill that can be developed over time, just like any other. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start practicing in a way that builds confidence rather than fear. Julia, what do you think is one of the main reasons people feel nervous or hesitant when speaking English?
That's such a great point, Adam, because I think most learners struggle with this issue at some point in their journey. In my experience, one of the biggest reasons people feel nervous about speaking is the fear of making mistakes and being judged for them. Many learners believe that if they don't speak perfectly, others will laugh at them, correct them, or think less of them. But what they don't realize is that making mistakes is not only natural, but also an essential part of the learning process. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. Instead of worrying about being perfect, learners should focus on communicating their ideas clearly. When you shift your mindset from, "I have to speak without mistakes," to "I have to make myself understood," you will instantly feel less pressure and more confidence when speaking.
That's such an important mindset shift, Julia, and I think a great way to build confidence is by starting small and gradually increasing the difficulty of speaking exercises. One of the easiest ways to practice speaking at home alone is by reading out loud. This is something that a lot of learners overlook, but it's actually one of the most powerful techniques for improving pronunciation, fluency, and speaking confidence. If you have an English book, article, or even song lyrics, try reading them out loud every day. Pay attention to your pronunciation, and don't be afraid to repeat difficult words until they feel natural. Over time, your mouth will get used to forming English sounds, and your speech will become smoother and more fluent. Plus, because you're practicing alone, there's no pressure, so you can focus entirely on improving without any fear of being judged.
That's a fantastic exercise, Adam. And I think another great method is the shadowing technique. This is when you listen to a native speaker, whether it's in a podcast, movie, or YouTube video, and you try to repeat what they're saying immediately after them, mimicking their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. The goal is to sound as close to the speaker as possible, almost like you're an actor trying to copy their style. Shadowing helps improve your pronunciation, fluency, and listening skills all at the same time. It might feel a little challenging at first, but if you start with slow recordings and work your way up to natural speed speech, you'll be amazed at how much your speaking ability improves.
I love that technique, Julia, because it forces learners to actually speak instead of just passively listening. Another effective way to overcome the fear of speaking is by practicing self-talk in English. This is something you can do anytime, anywhere, and it helps you develop the ability to think in English rather than always translating from your native language. A simple way to start is by describing your daily activities out loud. For example, while cooking, you can say, "Now I'm chopping the vegetables. Next, I will boil some water." This might feel strange at first, but over time, it becomes second nature. You can also pretend to have a conversation with someone. Ask yourself questions and then answer them. For example, "What did I do today?" "Well, this morning I woke up early and had a cup of coffee." This kind of solo practice makes speaking feel more natural and helps you gain confidence before speaking with real people.
That's such a practical method, Adam. And what's great about self-talk is that it removes the fear factor completely because you're speaking to yourself. There's no one there to judge you. But of course, at some point, learners need to move beyond just speaking alone and start practicing with real people. If they don't have a language partner, one of the best alternatives is using AI chatbots or language exchange apps, where they can text or even have voice conversations with AI or other learners. These tools are a great way to practice real conversations in a safe and comfortable environment before speaking with native speakers. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become, and eventually, speaking English will feel just as natural as speaking your own language.
Exactly, Julia. The most important thing is to keep practicing and not let fear stop you. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you're perfect. It comes from taking action, even when you're unsure. If you're listening to this podcast right now, I want you to make a small commitment. Choose one speaking exercise from what we discussed today and try it for just 5 minutes. Whether it's reading out loud, shadowing, self-talk, or using an AI chatbot, just start practicing. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So, what's one method you're going to try? Let us know in the comments. All right, we've covered so many important topics today, from setting a learning routine to using technology, avoiding common mistakes, and practicing reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Learning English alone is 100% possible if you stay consistent. Many people think they need a teacher, a language school, or a study partner to succeed. But the truth is, you are your best teacher. If you have the right mindset, use the right resources, and practice every day, you can reach fluency on your own. It might take time, but if you stick with it, you will see progress. Some days, you'll feel motivated. Other days, you'll feel tired and want to give up. That's normal. But remember, the most successful learners are not the ones who are the smartest, but the ones who never stop learning. Julia, what would you say to someone who feels discouraged or thinks learning English alone is too hard?
I would say, don't be too hard on yourself. Learning a new language is a big challenge, but you are already on the right path. The fact that you are listening to this podcast means you are serious about improving, and that's something to be proud of. If you ever feel stuck, remind yourself why you started. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or make international friends. Keep that goal in mind and use it as motivation. And don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Start today. Start now. Even if you practice for just 5 or 10 minutes, it's better than doing nothing. Small steps every day lead to big results over time.
Exactly. And here's something very important. Enjoy the process. If studying feels boring, change your method. Watch movies, listen to music, read interesting articles, or talk to yourself in English. The more fun you have, the easier it will be to stay consistent. Another tip: surround yourself with English as much as possible. If you don't live in an English-speaking country, create an English environment at home. Change your phone and computer settings to English. Follow English pages on social media. Listen to English music, podcasts, and audiobooks. Read books, news articles, and even product labels in English. The more you immerse yourself in English, the faster you will improve.
And one more thing, don't compare yourself to others. Some people learn fast while others take more time. And that's okay. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. If you know more English today than you did last week, that means you're improving. Progress is not always visible in one day, but over weeks and months, you will see the difference. Trust the process and believe in yourself.
Now, before we say goodbye, we want to hear from you. What is one tip from this podcast that you will try? Will you start a daily study routine, practice speaking with AI, change your phone settings to English? Let us know in the comments. Your comments help us understand what works for you, and they also inspire other learners who are on the same journey.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends who are also learning English. The more people we help, the better.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone, and remember, you can do this. See you next time. This section ensures a strong motivational ending with audience engagement. Let me know if you need any adjustments.